Thank you.
Meeting call to order. Roll call, Barry. McLaughlin is here, but she's next door. Do we want her to pop in?
I sent her a text. I told her that my meeting started.
Demora,
Present.
Clement, Rodriguez, Shea,
Here.
Baxter,
Here.
McFeeters,
Here.
Cruz here, Grant. Legal counsel,
Here.
approval of the prior meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, I'd like to approve the minutes of the prior meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay, who seconded that?
Tyler McFeeters.
Sorry.
Was that?
Sorry.
I get enough seconds at my kids come this morning. Meetings, I'm good. I won't lose any sleep over the
Okay.
Public comment? First person is Ford.
I'd ask that Mr. Fargnoli go first, please, as he has the petition.
First second. Sure.
Thanks, Rick.
This is on, right?
Thanks, Rick.
First off, I'd like to thank you all for giving me the time to speak with you all tonight. One thing I'd like to bring up is I see again that we're speaking on school construction projects and whether the mayor and the city council will be involved in such projects and what type of oversight or control we actually going to play if we were to change the chapter in the section of our charter. As far as I understand it, please anyone correct me if I'm wrong, as it sets right now, any major contracts or construction projects that take place within the city of Pawtucket always have a member such as the chief administrator.
That's not what's on the agenda. What's on the agenda is the reporting structure of the project that's coming before, that the mayor and the city council be given a report, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly.
But are they not receiving that now? From my understanding, they're not. They are receiving.
They are
that.
receiving it.
If we're having a monthly meeting.
This will put it in the charter, so it has to happen.
They're receiving it for this, we want them
Okay.
to receive it.
So is this, all right, okay, so, well,
One at a
time.
I don't want to turn it into question answer because I know sometimes that can get a little
Yep.
choppy. I do want to understand though, so that's why I'm saying it.
Sure.
Okay. So at this point, what is the mayor and the city council not
Not at
involved in like the financial usage of bonded out money that's been approved by the elected people of Pawtucket? That's where my stand goes, because if he already has control over that, are we talking about oversight or control over the financial?
This is just about the report, getting a final report.
And I know this is a very long process. It has to go from here, it's a recommendation, it has to go to the city council, after that, then it has to go up to vote to the people.
Correct.
So this isn't something that's gonna be ended closed. It's obviously not going to affect this upcoming election. That said, just the subject being brought up on such a week, myself running for school committee, this is the last day that we can go out and meet with the people in our constituents and gather signatures. I do have a problem, not that you meet on this day. Of course, you have to come and meet when it's convenient, volunteer public servants, of course, across the board. But this subject maybe could have waited till like some school committee members, like I would say, I have some papers here for some people that aren't actually backing. If you'd all like to sign, that's great. If you don't, you can leave them sitting there. Because we're taking away from time that we should be able to be on the street and talking with the constituents of Pawtucket. Did you have a question, sir? Oh, no. That's really where my stance comes in. It's not a big issue. I don't have an issue with this subject coming up before. You have a job. I think some of this business that takes place there in the charter review is so pertinent that, again, I think if I was to hand you a sheet and say, get 200 signatures from registered voters here in Pawtucket to back it before you even take it and bring it to city council, do you think you could gather that amount of signatures in 10 days?
What time frame?
10 days. You could, all right, so you all could go and gather, that would
I'm
put
not
it.
speaking for everybody.
Okay, well, I mean, even if we did it in an endorsed style, where the whole commission had to go out, I really, I appreciate your candid, straight answer. I might dispute you be able to get them in that amount of time, but that's,
You don't know my.
no, and I don't, and you don't either, as my, you know, no disrespect.
No, I'm taking it.
Okay. These are my statements. It seems like sometimes things fall into place, and I know that it's tough for y'all. You have to be here when you can be here. But at the same time, I think the agenda maybe should be what's going on in our community, in our city. Right now, this is what we call heck week. You know what I mean? Anyone who's running for office,
But it has to stay open.
It has to stay open.
anyone who's running
My
for
apologies.
office, I don't know how many people we have in here, and I'm not gonna assume whether you have, you haven't. But this week, I'm a pretty dark person sometimes, but I'm not usually quite this dark. It's because the sun's so, people are tired right now. They're trying to do their part to be part of the public system and to do things to help. They want to be about here too. I've received 5 phone calls today that people would rather be here, but they're short on signatures. They have to be out there.
And I do understand that, my apologies, but
No,
like
there's no-
you said,
Mhm.
we have to meet at a certain day and a certain
Mhm.
time, and this is when we can convey.
I do,
so-
and I think it's not, that I respect 100%.
And
It's
we
what
have-
goes on to the agenda on what days. Maybe this subject that
We
we're
have
speaking of-
discussed about adding the school committee coming into one of our meetings,
Yeah, I
making
would
sure
love
that
to
we
see
redo
that.
that,
was,
so.
some of those phone calls I received were from incoming school.
And that was part of our meeting last week, so if you want to go back and take a look, you will see
Well,
that we had it.
Last week was the fall, but yes, I know what you're saying. And I'm not, I thank you for giving me some time to speak with you. I just think we need to accordingly put what's on the agenda at what time to line up, so if we do have school committee meetings, maybe we push that forward to when there isn't, or backwards, you know,
And-
however we can make it work, so, because I know for a fact, people at Pawtucket are concerned with this, and they want to be involved, they want to be here, they want to speak with y'all, you know? It's very important, and we need to give them that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Pat Ford, 42 Oriental Street in Providence, Rhode Island, with Coalition Radio Network. I too am objecting to the presence of this particular, and with regard to the relationship between the school committee and the administration. First of all, there exists currently a committee, school construction committee, which is populated by members of the school committee, populated by members of the administration, also populated by members of the town council. The reporting already exists. The reality of the situation, if there's a dearth of communications, it actually occurs from the executive branch here in the mayor's office in regarding particularly what's happened with Unified High School. Months of delays, which ultimately will result in higher costs to taxpayers, whether they be the city of Pawtucket taxpayers or ultimately the state taxpayers, who will pick up a majority of the cost. I think it's anywhere from 85 to 90% of the cost of the Unified High School, because of the mayor's continued insistence on having these phantom negotiations with the gentleman who is the railroad magnate, which ultimately resulted in a piece of handwritten proposal, and that resulted in months of delays in reaching the level 2, if you will, submission to the Rhode Island Department of Education. The continued failure of the city to properly bond things, which is why we had to go out for a bond anticipation note, which we'll be submitting in our paper to find out what the actual extra cost was for going through short-term financing as opposed to properly bonding school projects on a current basis. The failure to communicate when those bond receipts were actually received. So the irony here is that the school committee books are open. And in fact, the city of Pawtucket is the one who ultimately controls the books of the school committee. It was the city of Pawtucket that decided to close the fiscal year early, 2 weeks ahead of time on June 12th. It was the city of Pawtucket that recently put out a memo, an email that said that you had to handwrite fiscal year 24 appropriation. So if there is a communication issue, it rests solely with the mayor and his office, and his continued politicization, if you will, of city school finances, ultimately coming down to the revolutionary act that took place last year when the city of Pawtucket School Committee decided to turn down the mayor's request to use school committee funds to balance a chaotic, broken city of Pawtucket financial system. So I would hope that you would actually, this meeting, if you can't, or maybe the next meeting, and I understand that it'll be too late for the ballot, but agendize, if you will, a requirement for the mayor to have open reports on the financial system. So the school committee, as it happened this April, will not receive a last minute notice that says we're not going to be paying vendors anymore without a reason. Just days before the topping of the Baldwin School steel enclosure. So Houston, we have a problem, but it's not the school committee. The problem continues to be the Grebien administration, their financial irresponsibility, their incredible overbondedness of the city, if that's even a word, and their failure to communicate properly. And the final witness to that was, of course, in the weeks running up to the Thanksgiving holiday, when the city accidentally, air quotes, accidentally missed payroll because of the communication problems. I would argue that in likelihood, based on the conversations I've had, it was because the city was out of money. Thank you.
Hey guys, doing? So I was at the last meeting, so I just wanted to piggyback.
Can you state your name, please, sir?
Cameron Segala, City of Robinson.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to piggyback on what they were saying and add to it a little bit. So as I understood, at the end of last meeting, you guys were supposed to be discussing proposed language for this meeting going forward, talking about oversight as regards to the mayor and the city council. Like Pat said, there's already a construction committee in place, so I personally feel like it's not necessary. And I also want to piggyback on when you guys hold these meetings. I know these are scheduled way ahead of time. Same thing with city council and all that. But I think it would be great for all the committees, all the council members to agree that maybe during this 10-day period, when everyone is trying to collect signatures, maybe to hold off on these meetings until afterwards, so that we all have a chance to be able to get our signatures and also attend these meetings. Because a lot of us do want to attend these meetings and be here and pay attention to what's going on. Like today, I was hoping in the agenda to see the proposed language so that I could talk about it some more, but it's not there. So I'm assuming that's what you guys are talking about today. Like Pat said, it might be too late for you guys to discuss this early enough to get it onto the ballot, but I just think you guys should reach out to the people more, see how they're feeling about this before you go forward, you know? I know you guys are appointed, so you have realistically, you don't have any responsibility to the voters because they didn't vote you in, which is another problem. I do wish that at least half of this committee was elected officials, but you know, we have to deal with what we have here. So, and I was hoping to see a school committee member here, which if that didn't work out, and I do think it's important that a representative is here to talk about these things because they are ultimately responsible for the reporting of these projects, and they're really not required to, like you guys already know, not required to go to the mayor or the city council with this stuff, and I think it should stay that way. There's a process in place, and it should stay that way. I don't think if it's not broken, don't fix it. Thank you.
I would ask if it would be, Chairman, could I speak for another minute or so? I do have a question about when this particular commission meets regularly. Last year it began, I believe it was in August. We had a special election and we were trying to, in my words, push something forward prior to that, to get it onto that special Congress ballot. And you'll remember that. I have a question as to why is it that this charter, why does it always meet right in the summer? This commission could be any time of the year, just discuss these exact same subjects. Why is it always seen that there was times with 3, 4, 5 years we go by with no reappointing. I'll break out the screenshots. It went from 2015 to 2021 with the same members sitting there. You know, that you guys hadn't met at all. It just seems there's something going on here where you're here the last 2 years to have something accomplished that is on an agenda of somebody here in City Hall that wants something. Why are we meeting? I know you can't answer. Why are we meeting in August? Why are we meeting in July? Why aren't we meeting in December? Why aren't we meeting in February, March, April, May, where there's no voting? You're not messing with the people's minds, but they think something's nefarious going on. which is what the people believe right now. You keep these subjects keep coming up, and they keep coming up at the same time, right before an election. We are not naive, and we are paying attention to what's going on. And if you were to get as far as to get it on the ballot, I promise you, it won't pass. Thank you. And with that said, I have to go gather signatures, so guys, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Well, I'm over my count. So, you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
You're hanging, I'm out.
Madam Chair, there's nobody in the virtual world who needs to speak, so.
Okay. Continue business, reviewing the discussion and votes of recommended in for the following resolution. Article 3, Chapter 7, Planning Commission membership.
So I have copies for everyone. It has a draft at the top. Okay, so this is, as you recall, we discussed, if you turn to the second page, the first page is pretty much boilerplate.
We're just looking at the city planning one first.
Yes,
right?
yes. So this expands the planning commission by 2 alternate members who can only vote when the other alternate, when a city member cannot meet or is not present at the meeting. And it continues the 5-year term. They're appointed by the mayor, and then it clarifies that alternate members shall be allowed to participate in any matter before the commission, which will only be allowed to vote on a matter or a question taking the place of a member who is absent from the proceeding. So you'll see the red is the stricken language, the blue is the new language. I got rid of the reference to the 1954 charter. It's really just kind of clean up. So there's really not much substance here other than clarifying that committee is 7 members and that there's going to be 2 alternate members appointed by the mayor for 5 years.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve.
A second.
Hold on a second, just go slow. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not used to doing this. Mr. Baxter. Who seconded that? Who's the second?
I did.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry.
So small people often.
Yeah, give me a name.
Joe, I'll say it tomorrow.
Madam Chair, just a question too while our scribe catches up, and this is, again, to become consistent with the new, some of the new state law requirements around a quorum for these commissions.
Somewhat, I mean, so that the quorum requirements are those members who are present, instead of there's no quorum requirement, but there was, so this is really just adding 2 alternate members.
To give us a little
Yes,
cushion.
to give you a cushion to meet a quorum, but it's not really compliance with the state.
Yeah, thank you, I
Yeah.
kind of didn't state that correctly,
Yeah.
but thank you.
And if I may, just to add to that,
Yeah.
just as you know,
Yeah.
there's been all the changes in state law, the planning commission has expanded responsibilities, so it's even more important to have.
Correct.
They now, excuse me, they now act as zoning officials, zoning board, when they have a unified development, so new development that needs zoning relief, they hear it all at once.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
And it's missing the meetings, if they can't vote in the meeting and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just, again, wanted to clarify and remind myself of the conversation last time.
So all in favor?
Can you roll call?
Oh, you want to do
on this,
roll
yeah,
call?
please? So just say your name when you roll call this, we would say I, just give me your name, sorry, so I have it. When you say I, just give me your last name, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So,
I, Brenda Clement, CLE.
Thank you.
Aye, McPheeters, MCF.
I, Elaine Cruz.
Aye, Phil Ship.
I, John Baxter.
Aye, Jose Demora.
Thank you. Sorry about that, I just
Half of us get that first.
Okay. Thank you. The second item on your agenda is what we talked about, and I apologize, I've had problems with my computer. this right here. This was really not a non-substantive changing other than to change all references in the charter from the personnel director to the human resources director. You'll notice that at the top of on the page, it did pick up the changes, but when I downloaded this from the city's website and then tried to convert it, it didn't convert well. But I assure you that anywhere there was in this draft, and I will have a draft ready for print ready for the council. Anywhere it says personnel director, I basically substitute human resources director or human resources department throughout this. But it's not showing in the filing pages. Just because I couldn't, for some reason, the track changes, when I downloaded it from there was a lot of I didn't want to retype everything, so when I downloaded it, it didn't carry over for whatever reason. So, but that's basically, it's a non-substantive change, and it basically updates the normal nomenclature of a human resources director instead of a personnel director. Nothing substantive, in my opinion, nothing substantive there.
Do you need a roll call on that too?
We have the motion or discussion first.
So move of the resolution and the language change.
Yes, sir.
And then some comments, sorry.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion?
I did, I second that.
Discussion? Okay.
Move to vote on this matter?
Roll call Barry, Laughlin,
Demora? We're voting now?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Demora,
Aye.
Clement,
Aye.
Rodriguez, Shea,
Aye.
Baxter,
Aye.
McPeters,
Aye.
Cruz, aye, Ash, Grant.
Thank you. And last but not least is the, that was the resources. That's the one that has a draft across it. Yeah. This was discussed in principle at the last meeting. This language that's underlined is adding a new section 4-1807. It's entitled School Construction and or Renovation Reports of the Office of the Mayor and City Council. If you recall, the similar language as stated here appears in the bond document that was passed for the current construction project of the school. Unified School. As I explained at the last meeting, under RIDE regulations, the school building committee is the committee that's charged with overseeing all school building projects. And there are specific statutory people who must be on that committee with certain qualifications. There is an appointee of the mayor or designation of the mayor, and I believe the superintendent of the schools. But there's nothing that really requires that committee to report back to the mayor or city council. So this language basically is a reporting requirement. It is not, other than a reporting requirement, that's all it is. This will be in place for any school construction project that RIDE approves. And it basically would require them that school building committee to report on a monthly basis or sooner if the council so wishes or the mayor so wishes on the status of the funding, the budget and cost reports, construction schedules and timelines, including an explanation of any deviation from the construction schedule, cash flows, change order updates, and progress photos, minutes of the building committee, and copies of any and all communications to and from RIDE related to the project, and other such information as the mayor and or city council may be necessary.
Such motion.
So, Madam Chair, if I may, I was able to.
If I may, please.
Yeah.
Can we ask the gentleman to not interrupt with the comments?
I'm allowed to make comments off record.
No, it's.
And actually, I'd ask you to actually.
It's foul language and you using it and. It's
I know, you're so offended. Come on,
No, I am.
Gabrielle,
Okay,
you're not.
let's
Believe
get
me.
back.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I was able to discuss this proposal with every member of the school committee individually, as well as the superintendent. Let them know that it was on tonight's agenda as well. None of them expressed any opposition to me of this. Kind of let them know the background of it, where this came from, and also inform them that similar language is in the bond resolution, as Mr. Marcello just said, that most recently passed the council, so I know there was some discussion of that the last time that you all met, so as I think requested, I reached out to all the members and had that conversation.
And just for the record too, at the last meeting, my concern was who are the members of this building committee? And it was said, you have an architect, you have building professionals and finance professionals, so that was my question when all this question came up. But I was satisfied with the answer, so it's all good. You have the right. Certain things you need to let professionals do.
Agreed.
And that's one of them.
100%.
A surgeon, mechanic for your car. Let the pros do those things, you know what I mean?
HVAC experts, right?
Because you didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn, I mean, there you go. So, but I digress, but thank you. So,
Any of the commissioners have any questions or want to discuss the language?
No, just a reminder to us all, the process, we're obviously an advisory committee, we're presenting this language to the council that will ultimately decide whether or not to put it on the ballot, and then if they do, then the voters have the approval. So I think for doing the due diligence and the follow-up that we had in the last meeting, I hear the concerns, but there'll be opportunities at council another time for them to raise their concerns, and certainly if it gets on the ballot and the vote.
Now, do the school committee council has everyone's email just in case they are concerned or they would like to talk to the commissioners about this, or?
That should all be provided on the website.
yeah, it should be it's public record.
And they also know that when the meetings are as well.
So there is a communication, can't say there's no communication between us and
That is
school
correct.
committee.
I spoke to every member of the school committee about this issue.
Just want to make sure and clarify it.
Very good, Madam Chair.
Oh,
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
I don't want to keep saying it.
I feel like I'm doing it.
It's my turn that time.
Yeah, good football.
Clement,
Aye.
Barry, McLaughlin, Zamora,
Aye.
Rodriguez, Shea,
Aye.
Baxter,
Aye.
McFeeters,
Aye.
Cruz, I, Ash, and Grant.
I would just ask one thing of the commission, to the extent that I find typos in this stuff before it's actually formally submitted to the council, again, not substantive stuff, I would ask that I be given the authority to make those changes as I see fit, but there wouldn't be any so it wouldn't be anything substantive, might be missing a comma or a misspelled word, because I just want to make sure I got this right, so.
For revision,
Exactly.
no objection? No.
Can you just make a motion to that effect, so I can have it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Can we do a voice vote on that one?
You can do a voice vote, yeah.
No, just need a voice
Aye,
vote.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Next meeting date?
The next meeting day is scheduled for next Thursday. I don't know if you guys want to take a break. We were pushing for to get a lot of this done in July because of the August 5th deadline. That was the deadline for the Board of Canvassers to get this. So now it's going to go to the City Council. I don't know when they're meeting next, but the local questions have to be certified by August 5th locally to get to the Secretary of State's office. I think the substantive stuff that I guess wanted to get to the ballot is moved well. To the extent that this stuff doesn't get to the ballot, I don't know if there's anything pressing that we need to do.
Have any new business or any topics?
So, maybe the call of the chair?
For the next meeting.
I'm iffy for next Thursday
Skip a
anyway,
week.
so.
And honestly, for the next 2 weeks, I might be busy.
Yeah.
I would just say, my suggestion would be you to take the time as commissioners to, look through the charter. If there are things that you see that could use improving, we reach out to legal counsel and can start building agendas for subsequent meetings. But my advice, not advice, but my suggestion is, since, there's no more time to get things to the ballot, that, a month from now is probably prudent. But that's just one man.
So why don't we do a date in August?
tentative day, and if there's some super emergency shows up, we could meet next Thursday, we can try to get something.
You can always call me within 48
Yeah.
hours.
We already have the 1st and the 8th set aside for meetings, so. we could-
Oh, no, we have the August 8th already?
I've got
Thursdays.
4, I've got the next 4 Thursdays.
Yeah, we went out to the August 8th when we set
Oh,
up
okay.
the meetings.
And do we know when the school committee is meeting on a Thursday, that way we don't schedule it on that Thursday, or?
Offhand, I don't
It shouldn't be.
How about if we can just
We can table the date.
table the
Yeah.
date and then
Call
go
the
back?
chair.
Yes.
Just be a call check.
Yeah, let you coordinate schedule.
At some point, the committee would want to, I don't know how far, since we want to go on some of the charter stuff, you might want to just kind of meet and decide, we're going to just review, Article 1, or whatever, go through it as a group, see if there's any, technical changes you want to make, and then go back, so we can, review how you want to handle it.
They're, oh wait,
Yeah, we can do that.
That would be a good process.
so the school committee's August meeting, thank you, is the 22nd.
That's Tuesday.
If that's a Tuesday.
That's
But they normally have a
No, it's a
Thursday that they do.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
The
August
25th. The 22nd is a Monday, so.
22nd of
Sorry.
August?
The 22nd is Thursday.
Yeah.
Of August, okay, thank you.
It's Thursday.
That must be one of their workshop committees, not.
That's their work session.
Yeah.
They don't have a regular scheduled meeting.
Oh, okay. I say we just leave it as TBD right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we do meet again, whether it's August or another date, that try to go section by section to see if there's any other additional changes, realizing it's not gonna be on the ballot this
Right, right.
cycle, but for any next cycle.
Right, yeah, we can pick a section at a time.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That way there, we can research it before the meeting, come in with suggestions.
Get
And-
into the
and
next cycle if
Yeah,
there's
review
any
it that way.
changes.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds good. Table the date.
Okay. Should I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
You got that one.
Adjourn.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I want to thank you and Maribel for coming to
Oh.